What's up, guys? Captain Gamester with the Super Fun Force, where we're always bringing and sharing with you guys our favorite toys, video games, comics, and anime. Today we have a retro hidden gem on the 3DS, and that is the Heroes of Ruin. Now, this game is, in my opinion, underappreciated. When it initially was released, there was a lot of hype built up, and people were about 50-50 as far as like enjoying it, and others were let down because, again, so much hype. You got 4 characters, action RPG, 4-player multiplayer, online and local. So there was a lot to live up to. You know, you got magic, you got shooting abilities, you got melee, all that fun stuff. I will say, I got this game a lot later, last year, 2020, and I was not disappointed. This is an awesome game, super accessible, has a nice mix of high fantasy, a little bit of steampunk, but it's very dark and edgy as well. I like the mix of characters. Again, there are 4 characters. You got this elven person this lady here who has a magical staff. She can melee attack. You got the human gunslinger. You got this lion type of warrior. And then you have like a brutish, big, tanky fighter warrior guy. And, you know, I played through with the gunslinger and the elf. And, you know, my friend, we were basically coming to this game with different perspectives. I'm like well-versed in all kinds of video games. And my friend doesn't really play these types of video games. However, they enjoyed it super much, super easy to get into, and you know, easy to learn. There's a lot of great customization in here as far as leveling up and the trees of your abilities, powering them up. Great options, control layout schemes to have like different buttons for different abilities. The movement is great. The frame rate is pretty steady. We didn't notice too many drops. We played locally together, where we were obviously in the same room, talking, sharing, you know, and basically planning, strategizing, fighting. Super fun, but we also played it a few times online, you know, separated, and again, still ran relatively smoothly. So, a great experience, and I will say, the 3D is another huge reason to get this. If you guys aren't into 3D, that's too bad. I love it. It's implemented in here perfectly. It's not overdone, but there's enough of that depth separation to really immerse you. It's awesome. Also, the in-game cutscenes are really cool. The artwork, very comic book style, very detailed. It looks wonderful, and the cinematics popping off in 3D. It's an easy story to get into as well. It is somewhat unpredictable. You know, obviously you expect certain things to happen, but I will say there's a fair amount of surprises you don't see them coming that keeps the plot interesting. Also, a lot of cool side quests. Man, this is great. Also, technically, this is, if you play this by yourself, it's like a 4-play, you know, playthrough replay value at least if you use each character. At the same time, there's different storyline quests that you might be able to take. Nothing major, but there's also different ways you can customize the character. And get this, there is loot you can drop, customize, trade with other people. Now that function won't be as, I guess, successful now because it doesn't have the obvious like online support it did when it first came out, where you guys can go out and, you know, find lobbies, play with other people, and, you know, trade super rare weapons. Now it's going to be based on just, you know, your own adventures, and at the same time, when you play with friends, you guys can trade items and stuff if you get things for, you know, each other's classes. You know, it's just great. There's a wonderful hub to go to with people to talk to give you missions, fill you in on stories, buy items, upgrade your weapons, just like a classic RPG, guys. I super recommend this. Let's take a look and talk a little bit about it again as we witness the gameplay.
All right, here we go. We're going to take a quick look. I'll walk you through some of this stuff. Here's my sharpshooter gunslinger character. I added the purple there. Armor looks super clean. Love the hat. So from the loading screen, you choose your character. Gives you kind of an overview. And then basically as you walk through the town, you see here you have the icons. On the right, you have the touchscreen and your buttons that are assigned to your special attacks. And then up here in the top left, you can basically go through your stats, your equipment. You can go through each section and equip something different. It tells you what each item does, what powers it has, how it affects your stats. Really in depth here, guys. Again, it's very easy to learn, and still people can get into this game and just kind of start with the basic controls, the attacks. And when you start upgrading and learning what does what, I mean, it starts to become explanatory. damage, HP, protections, regen and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so basically what you want to do is you want to get missions or advance the storyline. You find a character that takes you to an edge of the starting hub map, which is the kingdom. Then you get transported into an area that has different chapters that expands the area. The bottom has the map here. You fight enemies. I have the gunslinger, blasting, shooting. When you get close range, you automatically melee attacks. And as you can see, I use some of my abilities. Man, this game is great. You can't control the camera, but again, it's still 3D. Frame rate is smooth overall, even when there's a lot of action. Believe me, guys, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but the areas are very diverse. There's wonderful details in the background. So much crazy chaos enemies and stuff like that can happen. So you guys got to play this game. Take my word for it. Super fun. It's a great addition to your library if you want to play something that's multiplayer action RPG on the 3DS, on the go, in this kind of form factor for the retro styling. And again, that awesome 3D. So I hope you guys can appreciate it like I do. Check it out. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and thanks for hanging out. And Captain Gamesta, we'll see you again soon. Peace.